It's our turn, episode number 93, our most played games in 2018. In this episode, Nicole, AnnaMaria, and I talk about the games we've played the most over the past year.
This is the Dice Tower Network, adding games to your wish list since 2005.
Hosting for this episode is generously provided by our fantastic supporters on Patreon.com. If you'd like to help us out by pledging $1 per month or more, please visit patreon.com/OurTurnPodcast. Every dollar helps us to keep this show going strong. Hi, and welcome back to Our Turn. I'm Cathy Ford.
I'm AnnaMaria Jackson Phelps.
And I'm Nicole Martin.
Hi, ladies. Thank you for joining me for this episode.
Yay.
Yeah.
So excited.
Great to be back.
So in this episode, we are going to be talking about our most played games in 2018. But like we always do, we're going to start off by talking about what we've gotten to the table recently. So AnnaMaria, why don't you start us off?
Okay. So just last night, I got to play Heroes Crossing, which you've got to love a game that starts with a hook that's like heroes, go on great adventures, save towns, and then says you're not that hero. So the whole idea of Heroes Crossing is you're actually the shopkeeper for the adventurers. So you're spending all this time like making swords or putting together potions or whatever to entice heroes to come to your shop and buy things from you. So it was a great little twist. It reminded me a lot of JRPGs that I used to play 10, 15 years ago. Love it. Really fun.
JRPGs?
Yeah. They kind of have a particular flavor. If you've ever seen something with like 8-bit or 32-bit art, Legend of Zelda would be probably the first thing that kind of came to people's minds. Yeah, so it's a board game styled after that, and the art's even that way. And the fun thing with it is when you upgrade your buildings or your heroes, you go from 8-bit art to 16-bit art to 32-bit art. So yeah, it's super fun. Yeah, it's really neat.
Nice. And what did you think of it?
Overall, I really, really liked it. Like I said, I thought it was a fun little twist on the usual, grab your sword and hack and slash. No, make a potion, entice somebody to come and buy things from you, have a sale. It was just such a neat little twist. I really liked it.
I think I backed a Kickstarter that sounds similar to that. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you give it on the OTP scale?
I would probably give it a 4. Yeah, I think the only thing that missed for me was the cover art doesn't evoke the art on the inside of the game. And I really think that part of the charm of this game is that kind of old school video game nostalgia. And so someone who was just looking at it in a game store wouldn't really know that until they actually, physically lifted off the shelf and kind of looked at the back or whatever. But otherwise, I think they did a really good job. Great rule book, too, like really concise and well organized. So home run, really.
Nice. The one that I backed that sounds similar to that is called Guildmaster. And basically in that one, you're running a guild and you've got equipment and stuff like that people can come and buy, that the heroes can come and buy. It sounds similar. You're not a shopkeeper necessarily, but yeah, different art though, of course.
Neat.
Yeah, nice. All right, Nicole, what about you?
My most recently played game is called What Do You Meme? It's kind of like Cards Against Humanity, where you have a theme card and then everyone has to choose another card that best fits that theme. So, and all the themes are pictures that are just blank memes. And so it's really fun. I only played with 2 other people, so we had a fourth person that we called Invisible, where we would just put a random card in to make it more interesting. And it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I really liked it. I'd probably give it like a 3 though, because like you need a lot of people to play with it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Okay.
It's just inventing memes.
So a 3 is it's decent with some bugs.
Yes.
Does that sound about right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. The game that I played most recently was actually, we finished up, about 2 hours before we got on to record today. I have my friends Dwayne and Frank come over. Hi, guys. On Tuesdays, at least for now, to play games. And so today, the first game that we played is Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig, which is a smash up of Between Two Cities and the castle of Mad King Ludwig. In this one, you're playing like Between Two Cities. You're playing with your neighbor on each side. So you're building a castle between your right-hand neighbor, and you're also building another castle between you and your left-hand neighbor. And so you each pick a tile for each castle that you're building, and then you discuss with each of your neighbors where you're going to put it in the tableau. And these score based on what else you have in your tableau.
Okay.
And it's a good thing they came out with a scoring app for it, because they give this ginormous thick tablet of scoring sheets. It's 1 sheet per castle.
Okay.
Yeah, to score on. It's not 1 game per sheet. It's 1 sheet per castle in the game.
Huh.
And it is very complex.
Oh my goodness.
And so thankfully Dwayne found an app to do the scoring, and the scoring took us longer than playing the game took us.
Wow.
And then the difference is you get a score for each of your castles, right? But the score that you count is the lowest of those 2.
Oh, wow.
So if you have one castle that scores 34 points and another castle that scores 62 points, the 34 is the one you get to claim. Whoever has the highest of those is the winner.
Okay.
So, for example, Mark and I were working on a castle that scored 34 points. Frank and I were working on a castle that scored 60 points. Frank and Dwayne were working on a castle that scored 64 points. So for Frank,
That's interesting.
He got to claim the 60-point castle because that was the lowest of the 2. I had to claim the 34-point castle.
Oh, no.
Mark was working on a castle with Dwayne that scored 56 points. Mark had to claim the 34-point castle. So it's just kind of an interesting twist on scoring. And that is taken from Between Two Cities, because that has the same scoring mechanism in it. I liked it. I thought it as a game that's a smash up of 2 different games. I thought it was really well done. The art is good. I mean, the art is good in that if you're looking at it and you're looking at lovely art, then yes. Accessibility wise, it leaves a little bit to be desired, because if you have any problem with close-up vision at all, you're going to have trouble reading this. I mean, it was literally like, back and forth, okay, what do we got here? You definitely need to be wearing your bifocals when you're looking at these, because there's a lot of iconography that means a lot. And you have to understand what that iconography is when you're placing tiles, when you're picking tiles. And it's all very tiny, because the tiles are, I think they're 2 by 2 inches. So they're tiny tiles. They're not very big. As a game, I would give it a 4. I wish the tiles were a little bigger so the iconography could be a little bigger. But the components are rock solid. And they come in organizer trays with lids.
Oh, that's nice.
It reminded me of Mechs vs. Minions, Nicole. AnnaMaria, have you ever played Mechs vs. Minions or seen the box?
No, I haven't.
In Mechs vs. Minions, they have trays with lids.
That's so nice.
It was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. And the minions, there are 100 minions in the game, but there are 4 different poses. And they have figured out the little divots that each of the minions go in so that no matter what pose it's in, it can go in the holder. So,
That's
but
brilliant.
in getting back to the Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig, all of the tiles and all the pieces and everything fit neatly into a tray, and then that tray has a lid. And there are 2 trays in the box, and I love that. One of my pet
nice.
peeves is game boxes that come that are set up for shipping the game to the player, not for the player to store the game. Mm-hmm. You know, it drives me crazy, and that's why I love places like Broken Token and Daedalus Productions and Game Trays and Meeple Realty and Insert here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I give the game a 4. I enjoyed it. I would play it again. I'm not sure if I was given the choice of Between Two Cities and Between Two Castles, if I would choose castles over cities. But I liked it.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. And that's what we've been playing. We have set up and been referring to and rating games by our own rating scale. Here's how we are using this scale. 5. Buy this now. 4. A good solid game. 3. Decent with some bugs. 2. Has great potential as kindling. And 1. Give me back the time I spent playing it. All right, for today's hot topic, we are discussing our games that we've played the most in 2018. It's been a busy year for me because I have done 3 different challenges on Board Game Geek. I've done the 52 game challenge, the 100 by 1 game challenge, and the alphabet challenge. The only one I've finished so far as of today, December 4th, is the alphabet challenge, but I'm very close on the other 2.
Nice.
I think I have about 5 games each on the other 2.
You'll get that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm at like 94, 95 on the 100 by 1 game challenge. So I have a lot that I've played this year, but I thought, I want to take a look and see what have I played the most of. And I was actually kind of surprised. I wasn't surprised by one of them, but I was kind of surprised by the other 2. So I'm interested to see what you 2 came up with as well. AnnaMaria, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Okay, well, the first one on my list was Seven Wonders, which probably, for anyone who knows me, is not going to be surprised because that's my favorite game of all time. So I will take any excuse. If someone's like, oh, I've never played it before, I'm like, oh, let me teach you. If someone's like, oh, I just played it last week, I'm like, oh, then you're fresh on the rules. Let's play it again. Like, oh, you haven't played it this way? Let's try this expansion. I will play that game at the drop of a hat. I love how quick it is. I love the drafting mechanic. I love point salad. Every time I play, I feel like I can try a little bit different strategy. It's interesting to see what other people do. And this year in particular, at each of the major cons, I've gotten to see the latest expansion, Armada, where they're bringing in ships. So every time I get home from a con, then I'm like, oh man, I need to play Seven Wonders again because I'm so stoked for this expansion. The expansion in particular is going to be cool because it's going to allow you to affect people not just next to you, but further around the table, which is going to be a big first for Seven Wonders. So that'll be huge. But yeah, once again, no big surprise on that front. Seven Wonders.
Now, they came out with an app this year for Seven Wonders. Have you played it?
Only a couple of times, which is kind of surprising because I've really been getting into board game apps this year. I'm crazy about Cat Lady. I play that way too much right now. But that one, they'd been kind of hinting at for so long that at first I was super stoked about it. And then we kept waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And it kind of fell off my radar. So when it finally did come up, I was like, oh, I think I heard about that like in 2015 or something. So not so much, but you've played it.
Oh, I have, and I love it. It came out with the base game and leaders.
Oh, wow.
And then they added cities to it a little bit after it came out. And if I want to play Seven Wonders and there isn't a tabletop game available, I'll just sit down and play this because you're just playing against the AI.
Nice.
But you can play against 7 AIs.
Oh, really? That's fantastic.
And it goes really quick. You can play a whole game in 15 minutes.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
It's really, really quick. Now, one little pet peeve I have about it is if you close the app, you've forfeited the game.
No.
So, if you're halfway through a game and you want to leave your app open, it can run in the background. That's okay. But if you close the app, you forfeited the game.
Oh, no.
Basically. Yeah, because, when you open it again, it starts fresh. Oh, it doesn't say you forfeited the game. It just, when you open the app again, it doesn't pick up where you left off. You start fresh. Brand new game. So that's probably my only little pet peeve about it is that. But otherwise, it's really nice. And I have played Seven Wonders a few times this year, but outside the app. But that is a favorite, definitely. And we always play with my friend Dwayne's set because he has not only every expansion for Seven Wonders, but he has downloaded all of the fan-made wonders and all of the fan-made expansions and printed them out and laminated them. And he has over 100 wonders in his collection for us to choose from when we're going to play. So he's got like El Dorado and Angkor Wat and Teotihuacan. And they also have like Olympus and Asgard and Heaven and Hell are 2 separate wonders. One
would hope,
yeah. And they're fantastic. They've got Elysium and Tartarus as well from mythology. So it's always fun to play that. Yeah.
That's really neat. That's something I feel like the fan community for that game latched onto really quick was creating wonders. Because I know the first set of boards they later released was based on some very early community mods, if you will, that people had made. So I think it's another reason why I like the game so much is people who like this game really, really like this game. And and I can see why. It's amazing.
And so what is it about the game that keeps you coming back to it?
Partially the point salad. Partially, I think the history aspect. I like history anyway. And my favorite video game is also civilization building. It's Civilization. So this to me, instead of playing 7 hours of Civilization and boring to death 7 of my friends, I can play 30 minutes of Seven Wonders and everyone's pretty excited to do it. So
nice. Okay. That sounds great. Now, Nicole, you've played Seven Wonders a few times, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Seven Wonders and Seven Wonders Duels. You introduced me to both, and I love it, and I haven't played since, and it makes me very sad because I also really like history-based games. And
now I know what to get you for Christmas.
Yeah, so I really enjoy it, and it's a great game.
Good. All right. Awesome. So Nicole, what's on your list? What have you played the most?
One of the games I played the most this year is Betrayal at the House on the Hill.
That's one I have never played.
Oh, so good.
It's such a good game. I bought it for my boyfriend last year for Christmas because that's the one thing that he asked for. And we've brought it to our friend's house every time we come over. It always ends up getting played. If we don't have it, one of our friends brings it and we play. It's a really cool, like, cooperative adventure game for like the first half. And then the second half, it's one player versus the rest of the players. Most of the time, or it's the house against the rest of the players. And that's a lot of fun too. It's kind of funny because Kyrie, my boyfriend, he really likes to be the traitor and likes to play the bad guy in the house that's trying to destroy everyone else. So that's always fun. It's kind of a long game. It takes a couple hours, but like it's very entertaining and very worth the time commitment.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know that I have any friends that own this game, and I don't own it. I mean, other than you, of course.
Right.
But I mean, in my local game group, I don't know anybody that owns it. I'll have to ask.
Yeah.
Because that's one that's been out for a little while.
Since like 2004 was the first edition.
Yeah. And I've never played it. Probably the closest thing I've played to it it's got a hidden traitor aspect to it, right?
Yes.
So that would, yeah. I've played Dead of Winter and Battlestar Galactica with the hidden traitor mechanics, but I haven't played this one. I don't know why, because I love that mechanic.
Yeah.
I'm usually not super keen on that mechanic, but what I like that Betrayal does so well is no one starts as the traitor. Everyone's going through everything together, and then someone becomes the traitor. And so there's a certain amount, while it starts out completely cooperative, there's a certain amount of like, how good do I want to do for everyone here? Because if I turn out to be the one who betrays everyone, I kind of want to lock them in places. Like I don't want them to have started super well. So everybody kind of starts with this little bit of like, I'm helping, but I'm not helping a lot, but I don't know what position I want to be in a little bit. So it's really, really interesting.
Yeah. And I love the tiles for it too in the game. They're really well done. And I actually use them to make my own little like house plan for a haunted house one shot for D&D.
Oh, that's awesome!
Oh, nice!
And I built like themed creatures for each of the rooms that my players would go through, and so it was. I'm really glad that I had the game.
That's really cool.
It was super cool.
Nice.
They also just released this year a D&D version of the game called Betrayal at Baldur's Gate.
Oh.
So it's the exact same like game and mechanics and everything, just more fantasy themed and less horror themed. So yeah.
Nice.
Super
All right.
cool.
Well, I just put out a text to my friends and said, does anybody own this game? Because I really want to play it. All right. Yeah. So the game that I have actually played the most this year, I'm actually starting off with the one I played the most, and that was Charterstone. To date, I have played probably 20 times.
Wow.
Because, well, Charterstone is a legacy game that you get together, preferably with 6 players if you can, and you're playing for 12 games. There are 12 episodes in this game.
Right.
I have played through it once completely, and then I joined another group.
Oh, wow.
Mark and I were playing with some of our friends, and we finished our game. And then Sarah Reed, she and her husband played through it as a 2-player, and then they wanted to see how it played at a higher player count. So they put out a call for people, and Mark and I went, we'll do it. We'll go through it again. And so it's Sarah and Will, and then Mark and me, and then 2 of Sarah and Will's friends, JT and Chris. And so we are on I think we just played game 9. So
Wow.
yeah,
Of your second playthrough. That's
of
so
our
cool.
second playthrough.
That's so
And
cool.
it is different. I mean, because you're making different decisions. Every game, it gives you 2 decisions to make. And one thing that they didn't tell us in the first game, that Amy and Mike, who own the game, and they were reading off the decisions, they didn't tell us that there's a happy face for the king and a sad face for the king. And on one decision, if you go with this decision, you'll make the king happy. And if you go with this decision, you're going to make him angry. They didn't tell us that. They just said, pick one. Well, in the second game, we found out that there's a happy face and the sad face. And that kind of influences what you're going to decide.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been interesting. And then plus we're playing with a whole different group of people. And so, yeah, it's just, it's been a fun experience. It's actually a legacy game that you can replay. The board, I mean, you're putting stickers on the board as you play, but the board comes with another one on the other side.
Okay.
Oh,
And
neat.
it's the exact same thing, but all you do is you buy a recharge pack, which comes with a new deck of cards. And I don't think there's anything else in it. I think it's just another deck of cards, because a lot of the cards are peel off stickers that you then put on the board or you put on the pieces. And and it comes with new player boxes. They're little tuck boxes that you put your stuff in between games. And yeah, I think this was really well done. It's a Jamie Stegmaier game from Stonemaier Games. And I give it a 4.5. And the only thing that keeps it from being a 5 is that once I'm done with it after the second playthrough, I can't imagine wanting to play it again.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you can play through the game again once you've completed it using the board as it, stickered the way it is. But we were kind of discussing this the other night. We're like, why would you want to? If you're going to try and run through it with like a third group, you just basically have to go buy another game. There's the recharge pack, which allows you to flip the board over and then you can play it a second time. But I can't imagine really wanting to go through it again. And so, I really have no interest in adding it to my collection. I will say, if you have the opportunity to play this game because somebody, whether you or your friends or whatever, went and bought it, by all means, jump in and play. It's a great experience.
We just started. It's myself, Ben, and our youngest, and then Kathleen Donahue, who owns Labyrinth Game Store here in DC, and her son. And we just started, which has been super fun because the kids have never played a legacy game before. But they have both role played before. So they're actually getting into this whole, like, telling the story. I think, Kathleen's son is like the pumpkin farmer. And
That's who I'm playing right now.
I don't want to get too much further into it, but the kids have like really adopted this whole, like, we've got a persona and here's what we're doing and here's why we're doing it. And, watching them step through a legacy game has been fun, but the game itself is very solid too. So we've been pretty impressed.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
And again, it like I said earlier, it's a Stonemaier game, so it's got solid components. It's really well produced. The art is pretty good. We're playing with Will Reed. He's blind. I should say he's legally blind. He still has some vision, but he's able to play the game just based on what we tell him. He'll say, where is this character now, or is my spot open here? And we'll tell him yes or no or whatever. But it's he can play it just fine. He's won like a third of the games, I think.
Wow.
Go, Will.
Yeah. I mean, so he does really, really well with it. So, accessibility wise, there's not many complaints about it. But yeah, I mean, it's a solid game, and I absolutely give it about a 4.5 because I think that if you have the opportunity to play it, you should join a group, sit down and play it, and dedicate yourself to being there for 12 games.
Nice.
That's awesome.
All right. So what's next on your list, AnnaMaria?
Junk art. And it's
I've
funny.
heard of this one. I haven't played it.
Dex games have been kind of big this last year, maybe even year and a half.
They have.
And so when I first saw it, I love art and I love the idea of doing junk art. And it reminds me a little bit too in its style of the artist character in Iron Giant. So when I first saw it, I thought, okay, you know what? If I can find it somewhere, I'll give it a try before I buy it. And for me, this is the Dex game that actually stuck. In addition to the whole, like, you're going to stack these crazy shapes and you're going to create these interesting things and you're trying to build these towers, it actually has several different game modes. So instead of it being a very straightforward, do X, Jenga style pull things out, or other games where you have to stack the highest tower or whatever, you may have to stack a tower with other people, or you may have to decide on the pieces are decided by someone else for you. Or maybe you have to do the fastest, or maybe it needs to be the most stable. Since there are different modes to the gameplay, it's not just the same thing every single time. And that it just made it so much more interesting to play than kind of your standard Dex game. So this one comes out a lot more than I thought for, as I said, just, something that, it's just a bunch of shapes, right? You're just going to stack them. No. There's more going on there.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't seen this one. I've heard of it. I think I heard the Dice Tower review of it a while back, but I'm going to have to keep an eye out for this one.
Yeah, there's two, and I liked that. So there's like a wooden version in a wooden box, and it's really super nice, which is a great version. There's also a plastic one in a cardboard box that's a little bit less expensive. So I like that there was some economic accessibility there for the game.
That's nice.
Yeah, very nice. Because I think sometimes, especially given how just in the past couple of years, we've just seen so many great games come out that it gets hard for people to kind of keep up. Both
definitely.
Yeah, because either it's a time thing where you just don't have enough time to play all those games, or you just can't keep, reaching out for the wallet every single time. So it was nice to see this option for a very, very popular game.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. All right.
Nice.
All right, Nicole, how about you? What's next on your list?
My next game is Red Dragon Inn. I also bring this one to group get-togethers a lot. I have the first, second, and fifth expansions, I believe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that's pretty cool.
So you got the big box.
I do have the big box.
I need to get the big box.
Yeah. It's hefty to lug around everywhere, but it's worth it. My friends all really like it. Kyrie always likes playing Gog, the half orc.
Gog is great. I love playing Gog.
He really likes to role play that and read the cards and stuff. And my friends like adventuring games that don't actually have the adventure in it.
Why don't you describe it a little bit?
So the game is you're a group of adventurers, and you just finished your quest, and you have all your gold, and you're going to the Red Dragon Inn to spend all that gold, and to try to get everyone else to spend their gold before you spend yours, and also potentially get kicked out of the inn for drinking too much. So there you have a set of cards, and then you have a little mat that has your character on it. And on your turns, you play cards to try to give yourself an advantage or to give someone else a disadvantage. And then you have to drink at the end of your turn, quote unquote drink.
It's a card.
It's a card. Yeah.
It's not it is a card, or it is a game about drinking, not a drinking game.
Yes, although my friends want to try to make it the other one.
Could you make it a drinking game?
They're trying.
Sounds like a
probably could.
They're trying very hard. But you have a constitution, and then you have your drunkenness.
Yeah.
And if
your
they
health
ever,
and your intoxication. Uh-huh.
Yes, and if they ever cross, you pass out, and the tavern wench kicks you out. and you lose all your money, or you gamble yourself to the point where you can't pay the tavern wench anymore, and then she kicks you out. So it's a lot of fun. It's ridiculous.
They have come out with a new, I'm not sure if it's an expansion or if it's a new game, but it involves the staff of the Red Dragon Inn after everyone's been kicked out.
I love that. It's like,
yeah, somebody gets to play the wench.
oh my God, that's beautiful. It's just like working in like an actual restaurant, which I do already.
It's like, and I forget the name of it, but it's like After Hours at the Red Dragon Inn or something like. I don't remember what it's called. I'll have to ask Dwayne. I'm sure he knows.
Oh, that's super.
He's
cool.
the one that introduced me to Red Dragon Inn. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, he's the one that introduced me to it too. It was at your house, and he brought it, and we all played.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a super fun game. I love that game.
It's a lot of fun. There's so many expansions.
Yeah, for a while I didn't get my own copy because Dwayne had all of them.
Right.
And but then it was just like, this is one game I really just want to own. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so now I have a copy. I have 1, 3, and a couple of the mini expansions.
The allies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have one of the really convoluted ones that is like, it's the Lich King and...
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, I haven't played with those ones yet, but they all look super cool, so...
Yeah. Fun game. All right. My next game that I want to talk about is Terraforming Mars. In fact, we started our recording session about 6-ish. We finished up playing Terraforming Mars at 5:30.
Wow. You're just on it today.
Yeah. So I have played this game probably about 12 times this year. Mm-hmm. This is our go-to game when we just want to play a game that everybody knows. We were talking about it today. There's Terraforming Mars, there's Unfair, there's Power Grid, 7 Wonders. Those are the big 4 that we turn to when we just want to play a game that we don't have to explain to anybody because everybody there has already played it. Mm-hmm. And if there is someone new sitting there, as long as everybody else has played it, we're like, oh, you'll get this. No problem. We'll teach you. In fact, I played 7 Wonders that way with somebody earlier this year, and he won.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he was the only one at the table that had never played it, and he came in first. So he's got your kind of luck, Nicole.
Oh, yeah.
So every time we introduce Nicole to a game, she wins.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
That's a great skill to have.
I lose miserably the next time, but the first time...
But see, you should retire after the first play then. Just
right?
be like,
Exactly.
undefeated.
I'm a champion. I've won. Yeah. Just bring new games all the time.
Oh, yes.
We had a...
Anyway.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say really briefly with the 7 Wonders, when I got introduced to it at Origins, one of the guys who sat down at the table with us to play had never played before. And his friend was just like, oh, you're going to love it. It's my favorite game ever. And he kind of explained this to his friend the entire game. And his friend crushed him. I mean, it was just so funny. So, I mean, I won, but he came in second place. And then the other guy was like so far down there, it was kind of shameful. So it's just like,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I was like, go new guy. 7 Wonders is great. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. It's easy to teach and easy to learn.
Yeah.
So I love it. But Terraforming Mars, it's another one that's really kind of easy to teach, easy to learn, and then once you get it, then it's like, oh yeah, let's sit down and play it. I mean, granted, you have, in my humble opinion, you have to get something to augment the player mats because they're terrible.
Word.
But as I've mentioned before, Broken Token has a wonderful organizer that comes with replacement player mats. So, absolutely won't play without them, and love it. And I'm really enjoying the expansions for it. We don't have Prelude and Colonist yet, but I have played prelude in someone else's game, in Frank's game. And love it. Can't wait to play Colonists. Can't wait to get them both. So that is Terraforming Mars, and I absolutely give it a 5. Everybody should own a copy of this.
There's
I love that game.
There's actually an app that you can get that's very similar to Terraforming Mars. It's called, and it's free. It's called Terragenesis. I used to have it, and it has the same thing where you choose one of the companies to work for to terraform. This one starts you off on the moon, though, not Mars. And then you can go to different planets, and it has different levels of severity. It was a lot of fun, and I always thought that I was winning, but then I would oxidize a planet, or I would drown it. So it's very hard, but it's a lot of fun, and it's a free app. So
I will look that one up.
Terraforming Mars has its own app now too, and I've got that on Steam. It's definitely not free, actually. It's a little pricey, but it's very good. So
now here's something I want to ask you about, because when I first heard that Terraforming Mars app was coming out, I was thinking telephone app, but no, it's on Steam. So is it an app or is it an online game?
I mean, you can technically play a Steam game on your tablet or anything else.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah.
I thought Steam was just strictly on the computer.
No. I just always play. I mean, I have a big, nice computer to play games on, so the kids will still sit around with their phones playing a game. Well, they play a game on their phone while they're playing a game on their computer too. So I don't have that attention span anymore. So
I do that.
I have lots of friends that play games on their phone while they're playing games at the table.
I just can't.
And they're playing different games, and it drives me crazy.
I played like Pokemon
episode.
Go, and yeah. That is a whole nother episode.
Yes. So anyway, Terraforming Mars, I have played probably 12 times this year so far.
Wow.
And anyway, AnnaMaria, I have only just recently heard about this next one that you're going to talk about. And it's one of your most played games. So please tell me about your next game.
Oh, welcome to. This was kind of like the big hotness over the summer, and everybody's like, "Oh, you got to get a copy of this game." And it's really, really hard to find. It's funny that it's one that I've played as much as it has, because I haven't had it that long. But it's a roll and write, except for there's no roll. I don't like games that have a lot of randomness. So if I have a problem with roll and writes in general, it's the dice. And in Welcome to, it's not dice, it's cards. So there's probability there. There's, that there are X amount of numbers. You know that those numbers will come out eventually, So I love that about this game. It's really simple. You're kind of just building a 1950s style neighborhood, and you want to have an appropriate number of parks or pools or fences and things like that.
It's like city building.
A little bit, yeah. And through the dice, you're just deciding where you'll place fences along the street, or where, and how you'll number each property on the street. And it's brilliant. And it plays an infinite number of people, provided everyone can kind of tell what the card numbers are and what the symbols are on the back of the cards. It says on the side of the box from 1 to 100.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You can't beat that. It's a party game for a gamer party. So instead of everything being super random, you're actually playing a legit game with everybody. Mm-hmm. And it's really accessible too for new players and younger players. So you can play this with, a group that's got like young teenagers or a little bit older kids, all the way up to, grandma and grandpa. So it's a good holiday game for that as well. So I think their Kickstarter just wrapped up. They did a second edition, but also new pads that are themed. So there are Halloween ones where you're also attempting, I think, to get candy from some of the houses as you're building the neighborhoods. And I think there's a winter holiday one and a couple of other ones that I thought were just just super, super cute, and a great addition to the game. But they also added dry erase, which I feel like every roll and write game needs a dry erase version. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So between running out of pads and, killing off trees as we're playing, this with 100 people, definitely. But, we've probably had this game for maybe 3 months. And I know we've played it a dozen times already. So this one gets pulled out a lot.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
Nice. All right. And Nicole, what's your last game you're going to talk about?
My last game is the game I have played the most, and that's Dungeons and Dragons.
Woo!
You said you have a weekly game?
Yeah, so more than one game happens a week in the house, but I'm only part of one a week. So we play every Sunday morning from like 9 a.m. until like 2 p.m. or 1 p.m. And then I take Kyrie to his second session of the day where he plays from 4 p.m. until 11 p.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it happens a lot. And we're actually starting a new session or a new group next Tuesday. So I'll be in technically at that point 4 campaigns, but only 2 active campaigns. Yeah. And I've probably been in 6 or 7 campaigns total. I DM'd my first ever campaign this year. I did a one-shot.
Nice.
That was really cool.
Now, you told me at one point your regular game, everybody had an evil alignment. Is that one still going?
No, we all died. We ended up killing each other because evil. Because we all had talked to an aboleth, which is like this crazy monster that is older than the gods, and they have a perfect memory, and they make slaves out of anyone that they can talk to that like responds to them telepathically. So we all became the aboleth slaves, and it told us to kill each other, so we did that. So that's how that campaign ended.
Okay.
And I have designed probably 6 or 7 characters since then, and have gotten to play like 4 of them. So
That's so cool.
What version do you play?
We play 5th edition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark and I are in a 5th edition game right now. And then our friends Dwayne and Lexi. Hi, Dwayne and Lexi. They are putting together a 3.5 edition
Cool
game with, I believe, 6 individual parties.
Wow. It's a lot.
So yeah, they're running. Yeah, they've had, I think, 15 people say they want to play. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember if it's 4 or 6 individual parties. I know we're hosting one party.
Okay.
Wow.
That's insane.
So yeah. And yeah.
The new campaign that we're starting next week is Kyrie will be the DM, and it's going to be Magic the Gathering based. So we're going to be all, it's Ravnica, which is like a city of guilds. So we're all going to be a part of a guild, and we're all working together in this city to try to keep the balance or ruin the balance or something. My character is lawful good, so I'm going to be trying to keep the balance because, yes. But and eventually he said that he wants us all to be able to be planeswalkers, so move from different planes of existence to other ones so that we can explore the entire multiverse of Magic the Gathering as D&D characters.
That's
Nice.
so cool.
So I'm very excited.
That's really
The only
cool.
thing I know about the world that Dwayne and Lexi are putting together is that magic is a thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, not the game, but,
Right, yeah.
Actual magic. And there are no dragons. You don't know what dragons are.
Ooh,
Oh my.
that sounds fun.
And I was like, oh, but I have an idea for something for my character and it requires dragons.
So does
oh,
so does that mean that Dragonborns just don't exist on that world?
I suppose.
Wow. Yeah.
But I'm playing a half orc that was raised by elves.
Interesting.
Fun.
So she's got a lot of elven ideas, and but she's a half orc. Yeah,
That's
So fun.
and she's been magically altered by the elves in order to be able to fit in more with human society.
wow.
Yeah,
A lot.
but she still doesn't. People look at her and go, "You're not quite human, are you?" Mm-hmm. No, I'm not. And then she grins.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
But we've been given little bits and dribs and drabs. He started a Facebook group for the whole group that wants to play, but he's told us not to discuss our characters with one another.
Wow.
And he recently published a list of 100 questions we have to answer and submit back about our characters.
Okay.
Wow.
That's pretty common.
And then he's posted a whole bunch of different books that he's bought from Drive Thru RPG for us to read on character creation and, if you're doing, a ranger or a druid, then here, read this book. And if you're doing, a magician or a thief or, whatever, I don't remember all of them, but he's giving people different books to read for character creation, that kind of thing. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Dwayne's an excellent DM. I've never played in a game run by Lexi before, but I've run games with Lexi as a player, and she's an excellent player. So, and then she's also a hobbyist writer. I mean, she's that's her favorite thing to do is just sit and write. And so it'll be interesting to see this world that she's created, that Dwayne has helped her kind of refine. And I can't wait to see how that plays. It's gonna be
so
fun.
cool.
So
That sounds really neat. You guys are really lucky. We've been kind of trying. So we've been playing the new Conan RPG, which is really good, but it's hard to get a group together here. Everybody in DC is like crazy busy all the time.
of course,
But at the same time, our kids are involved in 4 different role-playing groups themselves. So they're constantly having these amazing role-playing experiences, and we're like, we might see our group maybe this month sometime. So
That's one of our campaigns right now. One of the ones that's not active because we're all in school. And so all of our schedules are different. And it's really, really, really hard to get together. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know that's kind of a trope, and people make that joke all the time. Is in you'll only in one reality actually get to meet up with folks this year or decade. So, but if it certainly feels true. So.
Yeah. Dwayne had started another game a while back that Mark and I were involved in called Aftermath. And that's a post-apocalyptic RPG. And you all went into a bunker when the sirens went off, into a bomb shelter. And you basically stayed there until the radiation came down enough that you could wander outside. And now you're wandering outside and you're trying to figure out, okay, what happened and, what happened to civilization and who's still out here. And, there's mutant monsters and all that kind of thing. It was a lot of fun. But he did it again where he set up, I think there were 4 different groups that were playing because he put out a general call on Facebook and said, who wants to play? And he had like 12 people say, me.
Yeah.
And so he put together, or it might have even been more than 12, but he put together like 3 or 4 different groups. And then it's just been a problem with trying to get everybody in one group together. And then Mark and I were also involved in a game that our friend Doc Cross is running. Hi, Doc. And he is also an excellent game master. But then when I got my job back in August, once I got through training, my days off suddenly became Tuesday and Wednesday and not Saturday and Sunday. And so they play on Saturdays from noon to 4, and I don't get off work till 2:30. So, but as I said in the last episode, my schedule is changing. So I'm going to be having Saturday and Sunday off again starting middle of December. So
Nice.
I'll be able to get back into that. So I'm looking forward to that. So Dungeons and Dragons is fun.
Very.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. What do you give it? What do you rate it?
Definitely
Nicole?
5. There's a reason why I've
Yeah.
paid so many characters.
Yep.
And most of them are just in hopes that they might one day get used.
Yep.
I just make them for fun at this point. And then when someone's like, hey, I'm starting a campaign. Do you want to join? I'm like, yes, I have my character already. Here's my backstory. Go.
Nice.
That's how this character is that I'm doing for Dwayne and Lexi's campaign. I actually first rolled her up kind of in a rough form for a Pathfinder game that Mark did. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like refining the story and I can't wait to roll her up and see how she comes up. So it'll be fun.
That's cool.
It'll be fun. All right. So the last game that I'm going to talk about and that we're going to talk about in this is one that I have played with Nicole's little sister. And that is First Orchard, which is a game that I was able to introduce her to late 2s. Yeah, age 2. And you have an orchard of 4 trees. One tree has green apples, one tree has red apples, one tree has pears, and one tree has plums. And each one has 4 wooden pieces of fruit on it. So they're nice, big, chunky pieces of fruit. They're designed for little tiny hands. And then you have a path that leads to the orchard, and there's a crow that's walking along the path. And you have a D6, 6-sided die. And on each of the 4 sides, there is a color to go with each of the pieces of fruit. And then on one side, there is a crow. And on the other side, there's a basket. The basket is a wild card. And so you roll the dice or the die. And whatever color comes up, that's the color of fruit you get to pick. If you roll the basket, it's a wild card. You can pick whichever fruit you want. If the raven comes up, he advances 1 space on the path. There are 5 spaces to the path. It's a cooperative game. So you're trying to harvest the trees before the crow can get to the trees. If the crow gets to the trees, the crow wins. If you get the trees completely harvested before the crow gets there, the whole group wins. And so I introduced this to Walker Lynn. And my niece Walker Lynn was 2 when I introduced her to it. And now she's almost 4.
Yep, almost 4. In what, 8 days?
In December, mid-December, something like that, yeah. And so this die is a big chunky wooden die. It's designed for little hands. So she would see me grab it in my hand and shake it around, and then I'd roll it on the table. Well, she'd pick it up in her little tiny hand, and it's almost as big as her hand, and she would grasp it and shake her hand back and forth and then set it down.
Yep.
And I just thought that was just so funny. But she was just trying to mimic me. But she absolutely loves this game. And when I go over and babysit her, she'll go and pull this game out. And first of all, she'll run up to me when I get there and she'll go, hey, Cathy, can we play a game today? And my heart goes, we can play all the games today. Of course we can. Because I'm turning her into a little gamer.
Good.
And, but we will play this one, I don't know, 5 or 6 times a day, at least. So this one is probably competing with Charterstone for most played game of the year. Yeah. We've played it a lot. And I decided this year to record all my plays. And so when I was looking through the list of, okay, what else can I add to this? I know I've played Charterstone a lot, and I know I've played Terraforming Mars a lot. What else have I played? Oh, yeah. First Orchard. Okay. Yeah, it's a great game. I absolutely, if you have a toddler that you want to introduce to board gaming, absolutely get First Orchard. This is a great game you can introduce them at starting at age 2. And it teaches them colors. It teaches them rules. It introduces them to rules. It's cooperative play, so it's not competitive. But it also teaches them how to win and how to lose, and how to take turns. That they can't just have all the turns. They have to wait while I take my turn.
It sounds like some regular board gamers could use some of these rules.
Right. Yep. So, that's First Orchard. Absolutely, if you have a toddler in your life, get this game.
Neat.
All right. So, thank you, ladies, for joining me for this discussion. This has been fun. And I'd like to ask the audience, what games have you played the most in 2018? And what keeps you coming back to this game over and over and over again? There's such a cult of the new out in the board gaming hobby. You feel like you have to keep up with all the new games and everything, but what are the favorites that you keep coming back to over and over again?
The Dice Tower Network is a proud supporter of the Jack Vassell Memorial Fund. The board gaming community is kind and generous, and this fund was created to provide financial assistance to members of the board gaming community in their time of need. To find out how you can help the fund continue to help others, please visit jackvassell.org/donate. Thank you for your support.
All right, so now the episode is winding down and we're looking ahead. So what have we all got on our plates for the next week or so? AnnaMaria?
I've got, so I think I've mentioned before on the show, I work for Pencil First. We're doing a Kickstarter right now with Board Gaming with Edo. So we're going to wind that up in about 10, 11 days here. Looking forward to a relaxing holiday. That'd be nice. Lots of food and putting my feet up and reading lots of books, and which is the best. That's the best part of the holiday, right? Not having to do anything. It's amazing.
Someday I'll know what that's like.
And then I'm also working on, I've got so there's going to be a big announcement with Girls Play Games in January. And I'm working on some secret plans, and I can't wait to tell everybody about that.
Nice.
Awesome.
Will you come back on the show and tell us?
I absolutely will. So mid-January.
All right.
Cool.
I'll pencil you in. All right. And Nicole, you've got some fun plans coming up.
Yeah. First and foremost, I'm looking forward to finishing finals and my research papers and all my projects and the semester being over. I'm exhausted and I'm ready for the next semester to start. 3 semesters left. Woo!
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Plowing through.
Congratulations.
Yeah, trying to get there.
Nice.
And then I need to go shopping tomorrow because we're having a holiday party at work this weekend. And I'm making pineapple casserole and deviled eggs for that. So that's exciting. And that new D&D party I mentioned before will be starting up next week. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Nice. All right.
Cool.
I am getting some Kickstarters in. I've gotten 3 games in the last week. They all came together. They were ordered together. They're the Tokyo series. One of the games is based on Japanese vending machine culture.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, you can buy anything in a vending machine in Japan. Mm-hmm. Another one is based on the Tokyo subway system, which apparently different branches are owned by different corporations. So I guess that makes it kind of interesting. And then the third game is based on Tokyo architecture or housing planning. Basically, they have crazy shaped lots in Tokyo. And when you buy the lot, apparently it's a common practice to just wipe out whatever was there, whatever house was there, and put in a new one. And either you're going to build something from scratch and it's going to be interesting architecturally and pretty solidly built, or you're going to put in something prefab because that's all you can afford to do. And it'll last for 15 or 20 years, and then you'll wipe it out and bring in another one.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting those to the table. And then I'm also expecting 1 week Ultimate Werewolf here soon. Apparently they had a glitch in the delivery to the Kickstarter backers, and it is going to be available in retail before the Kickstarter backers get it, which I'm a little distressed about. But yeah, they had it at Essen. They said it's probably going to be seen in retail before our Kickstarter backers get it, and they apologized for that. But we went and splurged a little bit, and so we're not only getting 1 week Ultimate Werewolf, but we're getting all of the one night Ultimate games.
Ooh.
And
Wow.
all of the werewolf games as well.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So, yeah, and I've never played werewolf, so I'm looking forward to that. So,
That's so fun. We just taught the kids Scout Troop how to play, and they had a blast. So
That
great
gets brought
game.
up
Yeah.
at parties a lot too over here.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a fun game. And I'll be interested to see how 1 week Ultimate Werewolf is different.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting some of these Kickstarters. They're suddenly coming in, which is great. And then there's a Kickstarter that I should be getting here pretty soon. That is, it's a gadget for video cameras. It helps you kind of set up interesting shots with video cameras. It's called a MUI. And I'm looking forward to getting that too, because I would like to start doing some videos. So we'll see how that goes.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. But I want them to be interesting. I don't want to just them, the camera staring at me and that's all you see. Mm-hmm. I want some interesting shots and stuff. And so these little gadgets are going to help with that some. So
Very cool.
I'm looking forward to learning how to use that. So anyway.
That's so neat.
All right. So, AnnaMaria, how can people connect with you online?
Oh, okay. I'm on Facebook at Girls Play Games and Twitter at girlsplay_games. My Instagram is just me, AnnaMaria Jackson Phelps. And I write the Biz Girls Guide for Girls Game Shelf. And a review at Board Game Quest. And I do stuff for Bebo and Be Bold. And now that I think about it, I do a lot of things, a lot of places. So find me on Twitter, and you can just kind of spiderweb off of there and find me everywhere.
Nice. All right. Nicole, if people want to connect with you online, how do they do it?
I'm most successful on Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram. So my Facebook's just Nicole Martin, and then my Instagram and Snapchat are TrickyNicky97. So that's TrickyNicky 97.
And you're also on Twitter as TrickyNicky97.
I don't use it though.
Oh, that's too bad because I tag you on it as often as I can.
Yeah, I don't. I forgot my password. And it was too much of a hassle to try to figure it out. So then I made a new Twitter last semester, and then I used it for about a week, and then I haven't touched it since. So Twitter's just not my place.
Okay. All right.
But
you can find me on Twitter as Our Turn Podcast. And I am also on Board Game Geek. I run our guild on BoardGameGeek.com. And that's guild number 2600. And then Sarah Reed runs our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Our Turn Podcast. Thank you, ladies, for joining me. This has been a fun episode.
yeah, thank you so much.
This was great. It's always a lot of fun.
Definitely.
All right. So until next time, and on behalf of the entire Our Turn Podcast crew, that was our turn.
And now it's yours.
Yours.
Thank you for listening. This episode was recorded on December 4th, 2018, and is written and produced by Cathy Ford, Nicole Martin, and AnnaMaria Jackson Phelps with assistance from Mark Ford. We want and encourage your questions, comments, and feedback. Please call 916-426-2873 and leave us a short voicemail, or send an email to feedback@ourturnpodcast.com. Our theme music was composed by Adriana Crickle. Incidental music was provided by Purple Planet Music. Please check out our show notes to learn more about these talented artists. The material in this episode is copyrighted under Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives 4.0 International License. If you want to learn more about the games discussed in this episode, please visit our website at ourturnpodcast.com/episode 93. You can find a list of the games along with links to their listing on BoardGameGeek.com. We are proud members of the Dice Tower Network. You can find out about other shows in the network like The Family Gamers, the Portal Gaming Podcast, or the Dukes of Dice by going to dicetowernetwork.com. Thank you for your support. If you like what you heard, please tell your friends about us.